Hey, good morning. After hearing Josh Howerton's sermon on the importance for believers to move from salvation to baptism to being filled with the Holy Spirit, just really wanted to look at this passage a little bit more, understand these truths a little bit more. And the Spirit reminded me of Moses' tabernacle and how we have this same picture in the Old Testament of moving from salvation to baptism to being filled with the presence of God, being filled by the Spirit of God, and what that looked like. So I wanted to take a minute and show you this image of Moses' tabernacle and how it played out then and how it plays out today for us. In Moses' tabernacle, you see this, that they would move into the gates, and every morning and every evening, the priest would offer a sacrifice at this bronze altar. Now, this is, we understand about the altar that's talked about a lot, that there would be offerings of bulls and lambs and goats and pigeons and all these things. And this fire would never go out. It was always a place of sacrifice. And then they would move from there to this water basin where they would be washed and cleansed before they would move into the presence of God. Now, the altar represents the sacrifice. There has to be a sacrifice to pay for the penalty of sins. And then there's this washing of the water, this cleansing. And then the priest every morning and every evening would move into this holy place. Now, this is the Holy of Holies. Back here is the place where God dwelt. That's the Ark of the Covenant. That is the Holy of Holies. But they would move into this holy place. And this holy place would have three elements in it. It would have this table of showbread first. And every Sabbath, they would stack 2 stacks of 6 loaves of bread on top of each other for the 12 tribes to remember the goodness and faithfulness of God. Now, this wasn't just the table of showbread, it was the table of presence. Therefore, when Jesus feeds the 5,000 and the disciples collect 12 baskets of bread, it had nothing to do with the disciples. It had everything for them to know and to see that He is the very presence of God. He is saying, I am the bread of life. I am the very presence of God in your midst. The other part in this holy place is this other altar. Now, we had the bronze altar outside that had this bitter smoke of sacrifice that was always going on. But this altar would have been of frankincense and myrrh, and it was a sweet aroma before the Lord. And it is the prayers offered up before God, from His people. So there is this moving into the presence of God, understanding He is the bread of life. He is the very presence of God, offering our prayers, these sweet fragrance before God. And then you have this golden lampstand here. This golden lampstand is really something amazing to me. As more I learn it and understand it, it just means more and more. Every morning, every evening, the priest would go in and he would have to fill the bowls of oil to keep the lamp lit. There had to be this fuel that kept it going. And every morning and every evening, he would go and he would fill the bowls with oil. Now, oil always represents the Spirit of God. It always represents the Holy Spirit. And so it is the filling for us to be filled with the presence of God by being filled by the Holy Spirit of God in order that our light would continue to shine. Not only did he have to fill the bowls with oil, he also had to trim the wicks. And part of the trim the wicks is getting rid of the old, getting rid of sin, getting rid of the old things that once owned us and controlled us, getting rid of what is dead, allowing the light to continue to shine. So for us, we move from salvation, understanding the sacrifice that was made, being cleansed in the water, and every day, every morning, and every evening, we move into the presence of God in order that we would be filled with the Spirit, we would offer up our prayers before Him, and that we would allow our light to continue to shine.